Larry, just to pick up on one thing you said there, protecting ourselves on trade. Are you saying that the current trade stance you think is actually helping the US economy? And with that in mind, is there any reason to pull back these tariffs if that's the case?
Well, look, I don't want to. We're in negotiations right now. As the president has said in recent days, they're constructive, almost round-the-clock negotiations. Doesn't mean he's going to sign the deal. He hasn't seen the final deal yet. He's holding back. But he basically likes what he sees. So we'll see how that is. If you want to pursue that in a moment or two, fine. No, I had something different in mind, Jonathan, almost psychological. I think that one of President Trump's most important accomplishments in his first 3 years in office is to change and clarify the narrative on China, and that this country, the USA, cannot permit unfair trading practices either by our allies or our non-allies. Technology, innovation, invention, application, as you well know, this is the heart of the American economy. We have the freedom to create, and that freedom is what drives our economy forward at the fastest rate of any country in the world for all these years. So here's my point. His job, as he sees it, is to defend America, to protect the workers, the farmers, the manufacturers, the people working in technology. That's his job. And so when I say people are happy, I think the country has come around to the president's narrative that we must be tough. We must be tough with China and anybody else who thinks they can willy-nilly steal our, not just our technology advances, but our God-given creativity.
Well, Larry,
he won't permit that.
I think most people would argue you've been tough
popular
with China. Most people would argue that you have. You said the president likes what he sees. October 11th, the president said, we have come to a deal, pretty much, subject to getting it written. It'll probably take 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or 5 weeks. That was 8 weeks ago. What has the president seen? What's been agreed?
Well, look, the president's up to speed on everything. We're almost in around-the-clock negotiations. The deputy level met, let's see, not last night, but the night before. The final strokes are not there. We're coming down to short strokes. We've been there. Now, some of the most delicate matters have to be adjudicated, discussed, analyzed, and evaluated. And then it will be presented to President Trump, and he'll take a look at it. As he said in London, and he said when he got back from London, he thinks the talks are moving ahead very nicely. He likes that they're very constructive, but he's not ready yet to sign, or he hasn't seen everything he wants to see. So we're moving forward nicely, covering a lot of ground, and I've learned never to forecast the outcome, and ultimately it is President Trump's going to make the final call, as you know.
That's the story, Larry, but I'm still trying to work out what's happened in the last 8 weeks or so. The president on October 11th said a tremendous deal for the farmers, a purchase from $40 to $50 billion of ag products. This was his message to the farmers. I'd suggest the farmers have to go and immediately buy more land and get bigger tractors. What has been negotiated and what has been agreed? Can I just ask you again, was there ever any agreement whatsoever on October 11th that involved $40 to $50 billion of U.S. agricultural products?
Well, Jonathan, as you might guess, I am not going to be specific about these details. They're on the table. I think your narrative is basically correct. I can't say yes and I can't say no. These are part of the final strokes. Agriculture, not only agricultural spending, by the way, but also opening up the ag market so that we are able to export a lot of different areas that they had prevented us from doing so. It's not my place today to reveal, these, shall we say, secret or, closely held talks. But I will continue to suggest that we are close. Progress has been made, great progress has been made, and we'll see how it ends up. It's almost around the clock discussions right now.
But Larry, the president did reveal that 8 weeks ago. and I'm trying to understand whether that is still on the table or not. So I'll ask it in vaguer terms, perhaps not in such specific terms. Has China shown any willingness whatsoever to agree to a dollar amount of U.S. agricultural products?
Well, I sure can't speak for them, and we have not papered, we have not codified and papered and translated these lengthy documents. So we'll have to wait and see. It takes two to tango, so both sides have to agree. We're waiting for that, both paperwork and translations. So we will see. I might add, if I'm not mistaken, Jonathan, I don't know whether it was your organization, somebody reported today that China withdrew some barriers to agriculture as a goodwill gesture. I'm not sure on all the details, but if it's a goodwill gesture, we appreciate goodwill gestures.
They're in the process of waiving retaliatory tariffs on some of the imports of U.S. pork and soy by domestic companies. That seems to be the latest turn of things, Larry. Would your message still be for the American farmer to go out and buy more land, to buy more tractors, or would you tell him to wait?
It's funny. As a broadcaster and a Wall Street economist, even before that, used to love to make forecasts. I'm kind of more cautious now. I don't really want to tell the farmers what they should and should not do. I'm going to hold back on that, just in case any of them actually followed my advice. I don't want to go there. I'm just saying that what I believe the president was inferring is that the discussions that we had a month or so ago with the top people, Liu He and so forth, certainly had those numbers on the table, and that our farm community, great patriots that they are, they've taken some hits and they've stayed behind us and defending this China trade effort. If they get it, then they probably will be buying a lot more equipment, and perhaps they should buy land. I'm just not good at forecasting farmland.